Hello, Helen here. Welcome to my Crafty podcast. It is Thursday the 20th of June here in Nelson, New Zealand. It's a sunny day, but it's a bit weak sun. We've had a bit of a frost this morning, so it's a little bit on the cold side, so that's why I've got a warm jersey on. I was going to film this podcast last week, but my computer decided to die on us. It had a big warning come up saying that there was a failure of the hard drive was imminent, and to back up everything we could, so very slowly and grindingly I backed up as much as I could, all the things that I wanted to save, had a bit of a clear out, and then proceeded to die. So it certainly wasn't up to doing any video editing or anything on it, so we ended up buying a new PC, and that's been a bit of a saga all week, trying to get it to save where I needed it to save, because it kept got Microsoft on it and it kept going to the OneDrive and I couldn't get it to go anywhere else, and it only saved 5 gig and then would tell me it was full, and so it's been a bit of a saga, but I finally got it going, and I think we can do the podcast today. I've got my little doggy friend sitting beside me. She seems to like it when I sit down. So I think I've got 2 knitting finishes, 1 crochet finish. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 knitting whips and 1 crochet whip going. So I've got quite a bit on at the moment, but I'm just doing little bits here and there. So let's start talking about that. Thank you very much for joining me and spending some time with me today. I'll try not to ramble too much. So my first 2 finished objects is, I was very close to finishing this last time. It's the Dixie Creek Cowl, and I just had the little fringe edging to do. So that is now finished, and I have worn it. Unfortunately, I'm finding the navy blue was a base that I bought that's Merino Possum, and I dyed it the navy colour, but I find that even though it feels very, very soft, this is the yarns that I used here. So this was a 8-ply yarn that I bought on Trade Me, which is a sale platform here in New Zealand, a bit like eBay, and then this is the navy Merino Possum that I dyed myself. It feels really, really soft, but yeah, I just find it really, really scratchy around my neck, so that's unfortunate, because it's a really lovely style. You knit it like a shawl pretty much, and then the last little bit you join it together and knit in the round for the last garter area, lace area, and then the fringe, so you don't have all the ends like you do a shawl to tuck in, and depending on how you wear them, it's just like a cowl stuck over your head. Sits really lovely. So yeah, I'm a bit sad about that, but whether I could wear it over something like this where it's not actually next to my skin, that would probably be the answer for that, so that I still get to wear it. The colour's not coming up very well. It's a lot more vivid in real life. I think you can see it kind of there. So that's my first finish. The second finish I talked about last time, but I hadn't even started it, but I ended up dyeing some merino sock. I think was 80-20%, and I dyed it myself, so it's got some tonal variations of pink in it. So I just used one. I dyed 2 hanks because I wasn't sure how much it was going to use, but I only used one. So I've made the what was it called? It's a Helen Stewart shawl, so I'll put it on the screen. I can't remember its name now, and I knitted one for my mother for Mother's Day in a mauvey colour, and I decided all the time I was knitting that, oh, it'd be really good in this outfit and that outfit, so I ended up making myself one, but I ended up doing it in pink. So it's knitted from the centre here, and you knit out, and it's all just straight stocking stitch to start with, and then when you get to the full, well, almost full amount, you start doing the lace, and it's just so beautiful. I'll put a film, a little bit of B-roll of a little close-up of the lace after this video, so it's just beautiful, and it's lovely to wear. I did put with it, I held some acrylic mohair lace weight with it, just to sort of give a little bit of a halo and a softness to it. And I ended up buying, this was just from, I think, Temu, or was it AliExpress. I bought some pink and some white of the mohair, and I put white in my mother's one, and it was just so soft. It was like Angora or kid silk. It was just so super soft. But this one, the white one, no, the pink one, I did white with hers, I bought pink for me. It's a little bit more acrylic-y and scratchy compared to, I sound like I'm moaning a lot, don't I? It is wearable, and I'm not finding it that I can't wear it or anything, but it's not as soft as hers was. So even though they were the same brand, the same, bought at the same time, one was definitely nicer quality mohair lace than this one was, but I'm still happy with it, and I still love it. I've had lots of compliments about it, so really love that. So that's my 2 knitting projects, and my last one, I'll pop in a bit of a video here that shows the video and the inspiration that I got. I just came across it when I was looking up some granny squares or crocheting granny blankets and things. I came across it and I thought, oh, I've got one of those. It's a tote, a cover for a canvas tote, and I had a couple of the totes already here, so, and I'll show you after I've shown you the B-roll of a little bit of the video that inspired me to do it. I thought the bag was really cool. So I already had some of these tote bags that I had done as gifts with iron-on vinyl from Cricut, with my Cricut machine that I had in the past with my card making. So I don't even see that it's very glittery and pretty. So I had a couple of spare ones left over, so I didn't have the beautiful colours that she had in her video, so I ended up doing them in I went through some of my acrylics because I decided acrylic was probably the best thing to do it with. So I had a lot of blues, so I ended up doing mine in blue with a black insert. And these were just bought from my craft shop, and they're Simcoe plain cotton craft bags. So this is my version. And I've done the trim in the navy blue, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white, and then 1, 2, 3 different blues and the navy. Now when I measured, I did one square and measured it and thought, oh yes, it's going to fit with three across and 3 down. But it turned out, once I joined them together, that I actually was a bit short, so I've ended up having to do one that wraps around. So I'm not totally happy with it, but it's okay. So I think it's really cool overall, and it was actually a fairly quick make, so it's amazing what inspiration you get from YouTube when you're just scrolling around. So yes, that was my last finish in the crochet, and now we'll move on to my whips. So one whip that's come across from last month was my Exordium shawl. Now this is a pattern, let me just have a look, a pattern by Rebecca Picoult, and she did it in fairly dark colours. But when I went through Ravelry, the project pages, I found a couple that were done in sort of more paler colours, and I quite liked the grey and white. So mine is done with a taupey grey. This is my own hand dyed. This was a bought one. So this was where is it? I don't know whether I've got the wool band. I'll also put it on the screen, what the grey is, and then the white, or the white, which is a beautiful soft, is in Ashfords Merino 4-ply. So it's their own range of yarn. And this is where I was up to last time. So I'd done 1, 2, 3 and a bit panels. So I've done all of this. So there's the marker. I've done all of this, and I think I've got 2 more colour rows of this one here, which is kind of a lacier pattern, and then I'm back to doing white, and it'll be garter. I haven't actually picked this up in about 3 weeks because, to be honest, I'm a little bit bored with it. It's definitely one of those knits where if you've got a lot going on and you don't want to think too much because you're only increasing on one side, I think every would be a knit row going one way. But it's definitely a non-thinking kind of project, and I want something a little bit more challenging at the moment, so I'll go back to it when I have a lot on and I can't concentrate on anything. I'll go back to that, but at the moment it's not getting any love, which is a little bit sad, but I'll eventually finish it. Then I'll show you my next make, which is my lovely Sweet Shop blanket, which I'm using. So it's the Laura Penrose Sweet Shop blanket, and I made using a whole lot of my own dyed yarns, which I've also done some extra. So I did some extra colours just because I thought it was getting a little bit too pastel-y, and so I've gone for some darker colours. Some of these are just ones that I've used for one of the triangles, and I'll go back and use them again. But I won't be showing this each time, but I can't remember how many squares I'd done, but I've actually done a few more, so it's not very easy to show, and goes down to there. So it's looking lovely, and it's a nice way to show off my hand dyed yarns. It's a lovely squishy soft blanket, and apart from the ends that I've still got to sew in, that's the back, so it's quite neat and tidy at the back, and then that's the front. So I'm loving that. I haven't actually done that in a few weeks either, because I've been concentrating on one particular project, and I'll show you that soon. It's a crochet project, so that's another one of my knitting whips that's happening at the moment. And then I have one, I'll show you that one first, one that I cast on with some yarn that I'd shown a few podcasts ago, but I really love the yarn, and I love the pattern here. It's Leah Michelle Designs, and it's called Saltwater and Sea Stars. Beautiful design. It's lacy, but it's actually quite three-dimensional. So I've only done a tiny little bit, and it's done with a yarn that I got from a local shop. It's called Spritzers, and it's it's called Aquamarine, and it's got beautiful blues and greens and really strong colours. And the pattern's knitting up really beautifully, a little bit that I've done. And it does kind of stand out quite a bit, the pattern, so it's almost dimensional. Hope you can't hear my washing machine there doing its last spin. It's a bit loud. Apologies if you can. I've kind of stalled on this because it turns out when I'm knitting it, my hands get quite blue, so obviously it's not totally colour fast, and I feel a bit concerned about when I'm wearing it I'm going to end up with a blue neck, or it's going to rub off onto my other clothes, so I'm not sure what to do about that. I'm loving it, but yeah, I'm just going to sit on it for a bit and see whether I can come up with a plan for what else to do with that. I may even frog it yet and use that pattern with another yarn or something. I'm just not sure. So that's a bit sad really. But yes, that's been put in the naughty corner for the time being. And then the last whip was one that I talked about last podcast as well, that I was planning to do, and I've ended up starting it and getting on quite well. So it's the Ranunculus. Everybody's usually heard of the Ranunculus, and it's a pattern by Midori Hirosi, I think. But a lot of the pictures on the pattern are very boxy and very oversized, and I don't like that. I don't like that with my garments. I'm a biggish lady and I don't want to look any bigger, so I saw quite a few podcasts of people that have been doing them lately, and they'd altered the sizes, or they'd changed the sizes as they went to be making it more fitting. So I thought, oh well, I'll give it a go. So I bought some yarn in a sale at one of our local craft stores, and it is, I decided I'd do some with some cheap yarn so that if it turned out a disaster it wasn't a too biggie. So I'm using Bella Baby, which is 60% acrylic, 40% nylon. But it's a lovely soft, because of baby yarn, it's a lovely soft and I'm doing this in this lovely mint colour. So I think it'll be quite comfortable to wear. So here's how far I've got so far. So I've done the neckline. That's the back. I've done some short rows on the back. I heard some people saying that they missed out the ones on the front so that it didn't go too high on the neck. So I've done that. I've done all the lace work on the, it's a bit hard to show you when it's on tighter needles. I've done all the lace part on the yoke. I've got down to where I've split for the sleeves, and I've got about that much done of the body. And it's getting to the point where I'll put it on some bigger needles and try it on and see, make sure that it fits. I think it will. So it's going to be a lovely summer top. It's hopefully not too warm. I'm hoping that it's going to be a coolish, seeing it's acrylic and nylon, but we'll see. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I was starting to get a bit of a sore hand, so I've ended up just putting that aside for a bit, so I haven't worked on that for the last week, but I will go back to it. I'll do the try on and make sure that I've got the right sizing, because at the point where you split for the sleeves, you can adjust how much you increase under the arm so that your body is either less or more stitches. So I've kind of guesstimated what I think is right by the sizing it said, and we'll see whether that's going to fit. So that's coming along really nicely. And then my last pattern, or last whip, is a crochet pattern. So when I was I went on Pinterest and I looked up a whole lot of granny square in various different kinds, because I felt like I wanted to do a little blanket to go on the back of my computer chair, because it's just a mesh kind of back and see-through, and I didn't really like the look of it, so I decided I'd just do a little blanket to go over the back of it. So I tried some various different patterns, and I liked one that was done. I picked out these colours and I quite liked this one, but it wasn't really going to work with just the colours I'd picked, because you needed, so you're going to have yellow beside yellow and green beside green and things, and I thought, well, that's not going to really work, but I quite liked the look of that. And then I found one that was an octagon shape, and I thought, I'll just use two colours. So I thought I quite liked that, but I don't know whether it was the size needle and the thread that I was using, but it's a bit fluted, and that's even when I've blocked it. Acrylic doesn't really block that well, but quite like that, and I might go back and do something with one like this eventually. But what I ended up deciding on was the African flower design, which is this. So I've got two versions. So I've got yellow with the mauve outer and mauve with the yellow outer, and then green right round it, and then you eventually put white. So I've done quite well, I'm getting on really well with it. So this is as far as I've got. Isn't it really pretty? So I'm going on diagonals, so that each colour is on a diagonal, and I've got, that's the bottom, and that's how wide it's going to be. Hope you can get the impression. So it's really a baby blanket, I guess, size. And then I've gone up as high as I think I wanted. So I may do one more row yet. I'll just have a look what it looks like. And then I've got kind of this much. So I've done enough of the hexagons to finish right across and the sides. So I'll have a look at what that looks like, and I may even do one more row at this point. But yeah, I'm really loving it. I think it's just such a beautiful combination of colours. So yeah, I've been so enjoying this, and it's so good. You can spend one night doing the hexagon African flower, or the African flower hexagons, and then another night you can spend, because you actually do the white part as you go, and it sews it all in. So another night, like I'll sit a night and do, I think I did this many. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and a couple of side ones. 11 in an evening, and then the next night I'll start sewing them in. So yeah, I don't think there's going to be too many more nights left on it, but I've been so enjoying it. This is the only thing I've been working on. I haven't gone back to any of my knitting projects or anything at this point, but yeah, I'm really loving this, and hopefully I'll have a blanket to put on the back of my computer chair fairly soon. So really beautiful, so happy with it. Such a lovely colour combination. Again, my camera never picks up the mauves very well, but it's more of a pinky mauve. That's looking more like a bluey mauve. Sometimes when I upload it on the computer, it actually looks better, but in my camera view, never looks very good. So that's my last work in progress. The last thing I've got to talk about is I have had a few acquisitions. One of our local craft department stores, Spotlight, which is a shop here in New Zealand, and also it's Australian based. They had a big yarn sale, and they had 30 to 50% off most yarns, and I'd just started the Ranunculus, and I thought, well, there's another summer tee that I want to do called the Anchor Tee, and it's done on a circular yoke again, but it's rows of, I think it's ribs, but it comes round and it's all rows that get bigger and bigger. So I've seen quite a few examples of them on different YouTube channels and podcasts, and it's just beautiful. So I decided I'd go and have a look and see what yarn I could find for that. So I ended up buying this. It's a silky lion brand called Trubu. It's got a really silky look, so I think that would be really lovely for it's a really peachy apricot colour. It's 100% rayon from bamboo, so I hope it's going to be okay with a garment. My mother was saying that rayon quite often shrinks, so I think I may have to look at doing a slightly bigger size than I probably want, although I have heard of other people that have used bamboo that they found that it kind of grows as you're wearing it, and then when you wash it, it shrinks back again. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what size I'm going to do, but I think it's going to make a really lovely summer top. And that a garment's worth only cost me $30, so I was super surprised at that because of the sale. So then we ended up going straight back down to the wool department, and I bought some more yarn. It's a sort of like a poppy pink colour, and I've always, when I wear this colour, I had a denim jacket in this colour, and I always got really nice compliments when I was wearing this colour, so I grabbed it again, and it's 100% acrylic called Panda Miracle. The balls are really, really messy. They don't stay wound up. So I think I haven't got finalised plans of that, but I bought enough to, looked up a couple of tanks, summer tanks, and I got enough yarn to do those, and that's probably what I'll do, and it'll be under something, you know, like it'll be a undergarment rather than an out garment. But yes, I've kind of got a bit into the garment. It's been a long time since I've knitted myself a garment, and I've been doing shawls and hats and various things, but I think it's time that I ventured out and did a few more garments, so that's my plans. And then the last acquisition was, I'd seen a pattern on, what's her name? The Mouse House. I'll have it down in the description anyway, as in all my information from what I've used on these different projects I'll have down the bottom. She was wearing a top called the Willow top, and it was a summer one where you knitted from the bottom up, ribbed, and then up to about this height, and then you did this lace, and it was slightly capped sleeves because of the lace, and then joined it at the shoulders, and it looked like a really simple pattern, and I really think it's really beautiful. So I ended up going down to our local, one of our local stores, which is called the Wool Shed, off of a beautiful giftware store called Eyebright, and they have yarn by Countrywide Yarns, and it's a silk merino. So I bought the bare yarn, I've bought 4 skeins of it, and I thought I might dye it, I'm thinking in a very, very pale pink, like just a hint of pink, and do that top with it. But it's going to be a bit of an adventure because I've never done 4 skeins to look the same. So I'm a bit nervous about it, but I'm sure I can achieve that. So I will make that at some stage and hopefully have it done by summer, or be doing it in the summer. And that's the last of my podcast. I hope my throat hasn't been too scratchy. We've all had colds for the last 2 weeks, and we just can't seem to throw off the last part of it. Got a bit of a cough and still feeling a bit grotty, but even my little 3-month-old baby got a little dose of it. Thank goodness when they're being breastfed they don't stay sick for very long, but he had a day where he cried most of the day, and we think he had a bit of a sore throat, and then the next couple of days he he discovered that when he makes noises, his voice was sounding a bit sort of croaky or different than what he was used to, so he was getting louder and louder with his croaky little noises, poor wee man. And then he kind of did a few little coughs every now and then, like it was more voice than anything. I guess little babies don't know how to cough properly, but it was a bit upsetting to see him not that well, but he got over it pretty quickly, and his poor mum and dad are still trying to get over it, and then me and Richard had been sick as well, off and on. I think my son was the only one that didn't get it, and luckily he didn't, because he has ulcerative colitis, so whenever he gets sick, he kind of has a real job to throw it off. He's usually really sick and ends up with a cough that goes on for months and months and months, so hopefully he doesn't get it. And there's so many flus and colds and things going around, and COVID again, and because we've just had such horrible cold weather, and and then it gets really warm up to 19 degrees and it's back to 9 to 11 degrees, and it's just all over the place at the moment. So we haven't really had any autumn. We had a few weeks of it and we've gone straight into winter, and other than the last week we've off and on had a bit of rain. We've had no rain for all of spring and summer and autumn, so we're in a drought. Canterbury, which is further down the South Island's in a really serious drought where they're having to buy in feed to feed their animals because there's no grass, and it's all got a bit serious this year. But they're predicting a bit of rain coming this coming weekend, and we've had days off and on this week, and we had a day at the weekend last weekend that was really rainy. So hopefully it's making a difference to us all, and we'll get over this drought and get all over our bugs and things. So thank you very much for joining me. Just a little message to Lynn or Linda, who had sent me a message last podcast saying she would like if I could show her how to change colours with my knitting, because she had started trying to do some knitting. I haven't forgotten, but I haven't actually been doing any projects where I am changing colour, so at some stage I'll do that for you. But in the meantime, if you wanted to get on with your knitting, just look it up on YouTube. You'll see there's lots and lots of videos on how to do it, and they're very good close-up videos, probably better than I can do, so do look them up, and I'll try and fit it in maybe to next podcast if I'm doing something and I'm changing colours. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope it hasn't been too rushed through. I can see my battery's flashing. It's going to turn off shortly. So I'll thank you very much for spending some time with me. I'll see you in July. It's my birthday next month, the middle of July. So it'll be around about that time that I podcast, as I usually try and do it the middle part of the month or towards the middle end part of the month. So we'll see you next month in July. Thank you for joining me. Bye.